Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're doing what if Deku was like John from the Unoriginals, or Ordinary. Yeah, Unordinary. Now, where I'm gonna start, first of all, on the Unordinary, you have to look for it over in Webtoons. That's why I mostly read it at. It's a very good story. I'm somewhat halfway done. I'm not gonna go finish it. I don't have either the guts or patience anymore for that story at all. I do know some of it, and I skipped ahead, saw the rest, and well, yeah. So, spoilers by this point. John has a quirk. Well, has a power in that world. And that power is not only in gaining the ability from someone he fights against, basically a copy quirk, but also somehow improving it and making it better than the other person originally had. Now, Zuko will have that same exact power type, but he is not gonna know until it's further down in the years. And the story is not gonna start like in the big cities. It actually starts over in the mountains. We see an old man, a very old man with a white beard, long white hair going all the way down to his shoulders. His name is Mr. Midoriya. He's telling a little kid to keep fighting, to keep going. He is the only student he has, and he's going to make him the best he can ever be. And after a few more punches and kicks, and going right back into a stance, the man, Mr. Midoriya, say, "That's enough. Take a 5." As the kid flopped down to his butt and start breathing heavily as he tried to get a drink. By this moment, someone else come through the doors. This man has green hair, green eyes, and doesn't have freckles, but is starting to show some, and a little bit of a beard coming up. And he checks on Zuko if he's need anything else. He looks over to his father and asks if Zuko's doing okay. He explained that he's doing quite fine for his age. Now, how do I put this? They are in a village, a small village, almost around 500. Everybody knows everybody. And what's different about this village compared to others, or a town, is everybody there is quirkless. No one there has a quirk, no one has a power, nothing of the sorts, and nothing that's very useful. People just toss them out and have them forgotten. So Zuko assumes that he does not have a quirk, since it never came up, or no doctor tells him that he has a quirk. So he just lives his normal life in that village, with his mother at home, cleaning, and of course, preparing a meal for the family. Her husband, her father-in-law, and her child. They have a meal in the middle of the dining room, and this is around the age of 3. Now, they're talking about the business, and what business they're talking about is the grandfather's dojo. He is not getting any money from anyone, since no one wants to fight, nor any wants to learn any kind of mush fighting styles. Now, because of this, he's focused all of his ideals, preparation, and everything that he had learned from his time being a martial artist to his only grandchild. He he tells them that since no one here is very motivated, that he has no hope but to pass down his leg- legacy to his only grandchild. As Zuko's just sitting there eating his food and just being quiet. Which the grandfather also asks a question, and when are they having another child? Inko, of course, saying she kind of tears coming down her eyes, and well, Midori Isashi looks at his wife, and then back to his father and saying, "We can't talk about that here. You know how hard that is for her to speak. Please, father, don't do it again." As he kept on eating his rice. The grandfather apologized and saying, "Sorry. I know how hard it is to lose another." Few months passed by. Zuko turned 4 years old. It's the same old, but this time they were given a paper that's further out in another town. That's a little bit bigger, and they're having a competition on all the other fighters that's in the area to battle and see who's the best. And at first, the master did not like this and just wanted to keep focusing training on Zuko. But Isashi points out this one key note: how much money the grand prize is. Even if it's second place, it's still a lot of money. I'm only using American numbers because I can't do translation to Japanese numbers. The grand prize is $10,000. It's a small town. Second prize is $5,000. Third prize, it's $2,000. And then after that, it's 100 coupons and stuff like that. Now, that amount of money for the grandfather would really help his dojo look nicer, as well as help his family become more comfortable. So he trains Zuko as hard as he can, as best he can, with everything and all the knowledge he thinks will be helpful. Zuko, of course, is grateful, but they do not go by levelings, nor belts, nor hierarchy. Everybody's equal in his mind and his dojo. Few days pass, or weeks, and the tournament comes up. And turns out there's only 5 kids, one in every town, and Zuko's just from his town because it's very small towns. They see all the other kids, and well, it's not very impressive. Isashi tells his son to relax and focus on your training as he goes up. First 2 fights were very simple, but something came up. You are using their own quirks. Some had stretchy arms, another person had wings that he used as a whip, someone had a lizard arm, and the last kid, he had like a big head, but he used it as if it was a hammer and just slammed down on the kids. Now, when Zuko was up, since it was an odd number, that Zuko was the lucky person to go to the next round against the 3. It was a free-for-all. No matter what happens in this area, he will at least get either 2, 3, 2, 5, or 10. So he gets ready, seeing that, well, he's the quirkless, and the announcer tells everybody, and the kid's name, and his quirk, big head. A kid, and his quirk, tail wings. Well, lizard wings. And for Zuko, is Zuko Midoriya, quirk, unknown. Since, well, he never got to a doctor, they just put down unknown, not quirkless. So, the ones that do know, well, don't know, thinks that he's actually quirkless or have a useless quirk. So these two little kids, that's a bit bigger than Zuko, attacked Zuko. At first, it was something simple. Just a few punches and kicks, and Zuko's dodge and just blocking and kicking them away. But the moment that one of the kids actually activate their quirk and try to whip him with his wings, Zuko of course dodged, but just got a snip, well, a slight cut from the wings' talons. Zuko of course back up and he was at the edge of the wings, but to everybody's shock, gasp, the uncle, father, and Inko, surprise, sees Zuko ripping his shirt. Zuko of course feels cold and looks down to see that he is shirtless. But he feels something on his back as he turns around and tries to grab it. And he feels something strange. He looks over and it's a color green like wings. And he kind of freaks out, saying, "Whoa, what's this? What the? Whoa." And he starts to move them like the kid did. And then he, well, on instinct, just force it a little harder and he's able to fly up. The kid that had the quirk originally is not able to do that. His wings are not strong enough, and also the kid is not very light. He's overweight, okay? Zuko, of course, sees this, but he doesn't know how to control it, so he accidentally falls. The kid, of course, is yelling and telling him to stop it. That's his quirk. Quit using it. That's mine. That's mine. And because of this anger coming up, he got blind to the punch that he got hit from the other kid, the big head. After the kid was out of the ring, Zuko's quirk evaporates. It just turns into steam or smoke, like green smoke, and just disappeared, as if it was never there. Now when the kid grows his big head over about the size of his own body and or bigger, and tried to hit Zuko, Zuko of course moved out of the way and starts to think on what his quirk is now. Is it really just the wings? So he tried to activate the wings, but nothing came up. But he started to feel lightheaded. And then when the big head kid tried to hit him again, but more of a headbutt, right the moment that the kid did a headbutt on Zuko's head enforced and grew just as big as the kid's head. But it felt very light, as if it wasn't any different, and pushed back the kid, passing over the line and getting him out, making Zuko the winner of the 10,000 prize. Everybody's in shock that he's the winner after a huge comeback, and when he was given questions, he just said them that he never knew what his quirk was. He went over to his parents and very excitedly said that he has his quirk, but he doesn't know what it is. With this money they have now, they decide to go to a doctor that's a little bit more pricey, but not too much. Around $95. Why not? And, well, the doctor gives him some tests and went to the parents, having Zuko play in the room, and tells them exactly how I told you how John's quirk power works. It depends on who is fighting against Zuko. As long as they hit him with either physically or their quirk itself, he will activate the quirk itself and in turn somehow get the experience from them, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, depending on the quirk and activate it instinctually, as if it was second nature. They take this in mind and have Zuko come back to the dojo. Zuko was told that since he won the money, and with a surprising quirk of an ultimate copy quirk, or unordinary copy, that Zuko is now wanting to, of course, train his quirk. But his father and his grandfather tells him that he has nobody to go against to activate his quirk. So they're going to do something else. His father is going to search up many different types of defense, offense, fighting of all sorts and types, as well as people that use their quirks in fights and have it applied to Zuko. So he's going to work that out. But his grandfather is going to be teaching and helping him fight in many ways and forms from his father, his child. Whatever information he gets, he applies it to Zuko and work out the smaller details. And Inko is in the background, helping him bulk up, make him stronger physically, emotionally, and mentally. And in turn, after a few more years pass by now he's around 5, a year, Zuko was told that with a book that he needs to meditate for spiritually be connected to his soul. He thinks it's weird, but he will take it since his father, grandfather, and mother tells him that it will help him in the long run. So Zuko, of course, do all of this work. Now, at the age of 10 years old, he has trained very hard. He has gained muscle on places that most kids are not able to make any muscle. And people think he's just a regular kid until they see him up in the morning running around the town with multiple laps until it was around 6. He woke up at 4 and started running. That's how much training he does. Not only running, push-ups, exercise of all sorts and types, just to build up his muscle, since he has no idea what's the next quirk he's gonna copy. So another competition comes up, but this time a bigger town. It's people that actually have more technology, not much of the outskirts of town nor fields of sorts of that type. And since that, it's up to 20 to 50 kids in the field, in the battle. At first, they were going to do a tournament style of one kid against another, and another to another. But they decided to do something different. Since, it's getting boring to most of the spectators and they want to have bets along with it, they made it to a big free-for-all battle royale. 10 kids in age group, or weight group. And they did it on a coin flip, either weight or age. And it flipped the coin and turns to be, the battle will be to the same age group. So whoever weighs the most basically wins most of the time. And they say not to use their quirks for the first 5 minutes. After that, gone. Kids from 5 to 7 and goes in. Few win, few lose, and the 5 top winners goes to the next round. Now, 7 to 8 goes in, fight, 5 of those winners goes to the next round. Basically, the ones that are left standing. And for the last battle of the day, it's the 10-year-olds and some of the 11-year-olds. That's the very limit of their age group. Goes in, and Zuko's in there With all the training that he got from his father, as well as lessons from his grandfather, he is very confident. So he fight against these kids in that small 5-minute time frame, going against everybody, picking out the weakest as well as the heaviest, tricking them to fall out of the ring, and well, he's became one of the few that are targeted to fight against when the 5-minute mark is over. When it finally is over, everybody starts to activate their quirks. Some have bubble beam, waterfall. Someone can use water but only out of their pinkies. And it's so weird. Zuko, of course, redirect all of it, and at one point, he's in the center of the battle, of the ring. 20 kids are all around him, and they know that he's the strongest one and needs to beat him at the same time. So they're all in agreement to get him out first, either by knockout or ring out. So they all say in 3, 2, 1, they use all their quirks, physical or beams of sorts or transformations, attack to Zuko. The ones that are long range, Zuko take in and push right back at them at the same force but a little bit smaller of a beam to push them back. Those actually got out. The ones with mid-range attacks, well, Zuko of course redirect their punches and hit another person around him, moving one side to another to each kid and not taking any hit until he felt a big blow from his back, looking around and sees that someone with a stone arm hit him really hard in the back. It hurt a lot, but his back starting to form up a wall or stone for him. He created and felt it that it was very stiff and tried to move it higher and further, but when he gets to his arms, he can't move his arms. So they're actually stone. So he just kept it in his stomach and chest area, keeping it strong and keeping it as if it was armor. As this goes on, most of the physical transformation attacks hit him. It was under his key and a shirt that they felt like they're hitting a boulder. Zuko, of course, released it, used all the transformation at once, and going against each one of them, pushing them back and knocking them down. He is the only one. Actually, there were 3 others, but they chose the smart idea of staying out of that ring and staying out of the way. Zuko beat down everybody, all 17 kids, by himself. Now, the next day, after everybody has their rest, they say that the 5 from the 5 to 6 year olds, 7 to 8 year olds, 5 have a battle, and they fight, and it'll be all the way to the last 2 people. After that, it's done for the day. For Zuko, the last 2 from their group fight against each other, and Zuko, of course, having a rest and don't remember what these kids' quirks were, but it was not strong enough, nor didn't feel any different as if he was fighting against regular people, that he'd defeat most of them easily. One kid was very smart and chose not to fight at all, became a pacifist. He looks over to Zuko and shakes his hand. Zuko, of course, grabs it, and Zuko looks at him saying, you're quirkless. The kid said, yeah, but best way to survive is not fight at all. That's always my motto. The kids give him his name as Zuko give him his name. After that, 3 hours pass for their break and people that use their quirks a little too much. And the last battle commenced. Now this kid had wheels for arms. He can transform his arms into wheels and somehow speed them up where it's give his opponents, well, burn marks, rug burns on whenever he hit them. Another kid has skeleton arms. He can dislocate or take them off, put it onto his other arm, and just hit harder, or, well, move it as a whip and kind of smack him with double the force. It's very unusual quirks. And these are just coming out of my head. I have no idea where they're coming from. A kid, that's two kids. The third one, fourth, fifth, they all lost. Of course, to each other, and Zuko, of course, and going against the ones that go against him. The ones that seem like they can beat him. Sadly, it was the younger ones, since the older ones saw his fight and chose not to do it. He did not feel bad since they all agree on fighting against each other fairly. And the last three, Zuko being second, another kid being first, and another kid being third. Zuko, of course, winning a prize, and it was around $20,000. The winner got $50,000, and the third got $5,000. After that, Zuko went home, and he was very frustrated. He is yelling, telling everybody off that he could have been the best. He could have just did better. He thinks that he can beat everybody. If only he was stronger. If only he could actually beat them all. And then he's starting to go meaner and more aggressive about how he would beat them, to a point that he was thinking of breaking the rules. By this point, Isashi and his grandfather was surprised on how Zuko was acting like this. And when Inko overheard what her son says, came by, smacked him right up on his face, and when Zuko looks over to his mother, he did the mistake of telling her, "What did you do that, you old hag, for? I was going to beat them all. I was going to get the money. I was going to," and he got smacked again. And then he was about to cry until his mother picked him up, kind of like holding on his shirt and picking him up, shaking him and telling him that you're not supposed to act like this to anybody. A long, and this is a very long lecture from his mother in a tone that he had never heard her say ever, not even to his father when he messed up. And he looks over to his father and grandfather, and they're shaking and kind of scared. He looks back to his mother and tried to speak one more word, and he got smacked again. Not even thinking of it, he just got smacked. And he's starting to feel the pain after that one. And his mother tells him, "Now, you're going to behave, be a good boy, or you'll see what happened with this chancla of mine, and where it's going to be. Do you understand?" Zuko says nothing, and Inko raised up her chancla and saying, "Do you understand?" as she was winding back the chancla. And Zuko said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. And he got scared. He is terrified of his own mother that does not have a quirk, with good reason. Now, because of this, the arrogance that came from John at the young age and from going into up to his teens somehow manifests into Zuko, but his mother and father, as well as his grandfather, corrected him straight, set him straight for the proper path, as well as have him meditate as time out, making him really reflect his words and actions about this. And at the end, he was shown a video of a true hero, All Might, and how he acts in front of the press, in front of people, in front of kids, and he is given an option of either having a chance to be like him or staying here in the village, being a nobody, but still be with his family. he looks at his mother and then looks at the TV and saying, can can I can I be a hero like him? And then goes thinks about it and said yes. If you work hard, be very nice, and truly become a true hero, we'll help you all the way. So Zuko by that point chose to become the number one hero, as well as become a true hero. The one that will protect and the one to defeat the evil. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. And this, my friends, is my series. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.